is marked by ritual and tradition. In the season of Dayaw, we will relish the preparations and celebrations that have defined our many cultures. What do we as Christians, as animists, as Islamic Filipinos value most? And how do we mark our years to show our collective aspirations? Tayo'y magdiwang at magpasalamat as we mark the milestones of the Filipino year. This is Dayaw, our knowledge, our pride. So far, in the season of Dayaw, we have looked at lowland Christian traditions that have marked significant events in the year. This time, we are privileged to witness a rare event, one that has no fixed date on the Gregorian calendar. In accordance with many animist traditions of our indigenous people, it is a ritual whose date is decided on when there are important milestones in the community's life. Welcome then to an authentic animist expression of thanks and prayer, the Booklog of the Subanon.
Derives its term from the platform, the Booklog platform. So the platform is sometimes referred to as the Booklogan, or where they would do the Booklog. Now, another structure is the Pebuklugan, no? Where they are preparing the processes, no? Of basically communicating to the spirit gods, no? That they're offering this ritual. Why do they do the Booklog? No? Essentially, this is a Thanksgiving ritual, either for a good harvest or after illness, or when you are installed as a leader of the tribe, or it's also a Thanksgiving when you pray for the final destination of the dead ancestors. They also do a Booklog. No? So there are different types of Booklog. No? Booklog Samaya is a Thanksgiving after harvest or after recovering from illness. Booklog Polonto, and many other terms of Booklog. But in here, in this particular Booklog, they call them Booklog Tendeg. Tendeg, no? Meaning rise up, stand up. Because they wanted this particular Thanksgiving, no? As a ceremony of harmony and as a ceremony of reclaiming back, no? The sense of cultural identity and integrity. And that's why the different territories of the Sumadans come over and decided that it will be Bukog Tendeg.
The ritual of erecting the Booklog platform for the Subanon is more than just a physical activity involving a physical structure.
Basically, revealing their close association and relationships with the upper world, especially with the Duata, and horizontally amongst themselves as a community of peoples. No? So there are rituals that are offered to the Duata, but there are also rituals that affirms their oneness and harmony. And that's why the start of a Booklog is especially so if the Booklog is done by the multiple communities, is to hold a daga, no? Or what we call ritual of strengthening relations, and the daga, the bloodletting ceremony for them as well, Subanans. Now, there are a lot of preparatory antecedent rituals before the Booklog. They would even say that normally they would have common 7 rituals, no? In their religious belief, in their sacred belief. There are 7 heavens before you finally reach. If you finally reach the greatest heaven where the great Creator is residing, no? And the 7 heavens, and 7 is very important for them. They would have 7 ritual offerings. They also have 7 posts. They also have 7 turn of the dances, 7 rounds. bells and all these things. So essentially, it's a religious ritual, invoking the guidance of the spirits and invoking the guidance, the presence even of the departed ancestors.
The finished object itself is more than just a structure. As with many animist rituals, the object is a repository of meaning and memory.
One can say that in the Booklog, earth and heaven meets. They have the symbol for the heaven in the Booklogan later on. If you would observe it, it's a platform that goes up and down. Making sounds, and so the sounds of the mortar and the pestle are appeasing to the ears of the spirits. And then when they'll do into their trance dancing, they gibat, no? They lift up, and it seems that they already near, the heaven, and it's heaven. Now there is a ladder that connects the Booklogan to the main house. The main house is the mundane, the earthly activities. They dances, they call the spirits, and that ladder bridges them to reach the heaven. You will observe later on the different rituals and its symbolization, and its sacredness to the Subanos. Why is it important? It's basically identity. It's their sense of identity. It's their sense of community as a distinct people whose cosmic world and whose divine world are rolled up into this whole complex of the Booklog.
We want Dubai to be number one. That's the vision. Back then, it seemed like a desert dream. But we had brothers who believed that our desert is a land of endless opportunities, who believe nothing is impossible to a willing heart. The Filipinos. And so they came, the best and the brightest, with the will and the skill to build the biggest and the tallest. Shukran, brother Filipinos. Your hearts and your minds help give life to our Dubai dreams.
I am Chris. I am the Philippines.
Muli na namang kinilala ang mga programa ng PTV, Natatak, Anak TV, Bagong Pilipinas Ngayon, DOST Report, On Point, Surviving the Pandemic, Expert Talk, Health at Home, Schoolmates, Masters of the Game, Mike Abel Live, NAPC, Aksyon Laban sa Kahirapan, On Assignment, PTV News Tonight, PTV Sports, Public Eye, Rise and Shine Pilipinas, Sentro Balita. Makakaasa po kayo na kami ay patuloy na maghahandog ng kasiyahan, inspirasyon at impormasyon para sa kabataan at pamilyang Pilipino. Maraming salamat po.
we speak of festivals and rituals, we can't help but think of these as spectacles staged for an audience of onlookers. What we don't often realize is that there are deeper meanings and reasons behind what we see only as spectacles. In the Booklog, the entire process of constructing the platform and gathering the community to dance is in itself the spiritual journey. Each stage, each voice, each step resonates with a personal meaning.
There are different types of buklog. And depending on the location and depending on the host, they would determine kung ano yung mga rituals. But there are common rituals, no? Which may not also be in this particular succession. No? I will just describe the rituals here, no? Yung succession na ritual. Since it's a booklog attended by different communities, so the first thing for them is to identify who will be the officiating shamans of the bylands. And because the bylands, some of the bylands or the priests are not from this place, so they have to agree that they will only have to harmonize their methods of invoking the spirits. And to do that, they have to do the daga. Yung daga nila is to firm up to daga. Basically, they have the ritual offering is the chicken, no? And from the blood of the chicken, no? They sprinkled it to the hands of all the baylan. And then they will be drinking from the same jar. And the blood is just on top of the jar of the sacred wine. No? So, and that's also the pledge, the individual pledge. No? So, but the daga is not a requirement for all booklog, especially if it's a community booklog or house booklog.
The many shamans or baylan who came together to officiate at the Booklog ritual we recorded all had important roles to play. Their presence and their guidance assured that the ritual was enacted in accordance to the Subanon tradition. The construction of the platform was marked at each stage by the appropriate rituals.
Start yung ritual natin. What we do is we kill one pig, we shed blood on the stair. This is the asking of permission to our God na kailangan gawin ito para matuloy yung buklog. So ito yung daanan ng mga tao. From the stairs, this is now where the visitors will sit. This is the main floor of the porch at ito is the main activity, what we call the Dawas Balay. And this is the sapi. The sapi is also a living room where we used to receive visitors and also doing an activity during the festivity. And also the other side is the sapi. The sapi is also a receiving visitor. It must be also converted into a living room. Here, we call that the sulong. The sulong is a room converted to our present situation now as mga modern houses. This is where the people sleep. And there, another small room, we call it the pirang. And another parts of this house is the ritual house. That is the damin. The damin is an altar where we offer our food to offer to our God. That's why we call it the damin. And the other one is, this is the ritual house wherein ginagawa ito ng mga musician. Dito sila 24 hours sila dito play ng music ng kanilang yung ng agong. Sila yung perform. They are the leader to drive the bad spirit at the same time, and also doing good spirit para pwede itong masayawan ang kanilang tugtog. And now, this one is an part of the sapi, the sulong. Dito yung ginagawa yung offering natin where we used to ask our God paano natin to respect. The sinulampong, the essence of that sinulampong is we are trying to ask God, the goddess sa mga kahoy, na putulin sila para gawin ng buklog. So this is what we call asking permission to the spirit of the trees para kunin namin sila para magawa natin yung gawain bukas ng buklog.
The Sinulampong is the start, is the call for them that they're already permitted to act as one community, one in unity, and they're now prepared to do the buklog. The pamilwasan is inviting the spirits of the ancestors to partake the meals. So they will offer food to the spirit guides or to the ancestors.
So here we offer the gasi. And we also offer the food. This is the chicken. And inside there is the eggs. Dahil narinig sa mga gumano. There. So, here, this is the beetle. The mamaan. This is where this is used for driving bad spirit. We cannot do the buklog without this house.
Because of the Sinulampong, they're already permitted to enter the forest, so they start cutting the trees. Now, sa cutting of the trees, they will invoke again, the guardians, the spirit guardians of the trees and the forest. And so they'll be singing again their giloy. The giloy are their chants in verses, mostly in metaphors. And so the bailan, after the praying, while they're cutting the trees, they will be singing the giloy. Then, after cutting the trees, a buklogan needs 8 posts. Normally, if it's just a normal size, they would need about 36 beams. And matting niya talaga are strips of bamboos. So, ang dami nun. So, and then in the middle is the mortar or the chisel. And this is the most sacred log because that's where the spirit lies. They also believe that most of the spirits lives in the river. Both the good spirits and those who are not so good spirits. And so they will have the gampang or the water ritual. Perhaps because they're subanon, or the people in the river. So the spirits also resides in the river. And this is quite tricky, the gampang, because this is where they will draw the boundaries. They will tie a very symbolic boundary. Bad spirits, dyan lang kayo. Good spirits, dito kayo. They will tie that boundary, offer a lot for both the good and the bad spirits, so that nobody can put ill into the whole celebration.
In this, we see how physical labor was one with the spiritual, how a community's efforts were grounded in their own mythology, in their connections to the deities their ancestors had communed with.
in bringing you world-class news programs for the Filipino.
PTV News Tonight, People Television Networking, PTV Philippines.
Winner for Best News Program at the 2024 Asian Television Awards. Our mission is to inform, inspire, and empower the Filipino through news and information lives on. PTV, your people's television. Ang kabastusan at karahasan ay walang puwang sa isang makataong lipunan. Kapag nakaranas ng pang-aabuso, dumulog agad sa vow desk ng inyong barangay, opisina o pinakamalapit na istasyon ng pulis para kayo ay mabigyan ng proteksyon. Alamin ang inyong mga karapatan. Sama-sama tayong magpalaganap ng isang vow-free na Pilipinas.
At last, the big day arrives and the Subanon are ready to mount the platform. With each pounding of the resonator, a joyous noise goes up to the spirits. A prayer is performed, a community blessed. And another cycle of life begins again.
Sino ang pwedeng tumawag ng Booklog? Sino ang pwedeng tawag ng mga tao?
Ang magpapatawag at saka magpaplano, makipag-usap, yung talagang mga leaders yung tinawag namin timuan. Kasi ang balyan, ang gawain nila, yung pagriritual sa Booklog.
So yung mga timuay, pwedeng sila ang magpatawag kung kailangan ng Booklog.
Ang Booklog, ang makakaalam na kailangan mag-Booklog, sila pong mga balyan. Ito po ang sagot ni Nasito, balyan Nasito, Ligana ng Dominata Lakewood, Sambonga del Sur. Kasi sila daw po, ang balyan ang nakakaalam. Halimbawa kung nagkasakit ang tao, kailangan mong mag-Booklog. So kakausapin niya yung mga timuay, sila na po ang magpapaalam sa komunidad na kailangan mag-Booklog kung mayroong mangyari. Itong ginawa nilang Booklog Tindag, meaning to say, festivity of dignity. So, pag nagawa na yung buong structure, ibig sabihin doon, nakatayo na sila. Ayun na, dignitary na sila. No, papasalamat na na-achieve na nila yung hiling nila na magiging progressive, yung pagiging leader, at saka yung paghahaplos po doon sa kahoy na sa gitna. Meaning to say, long life, long live all the leaders. Hindi lang sila, lahat ng gumaganon doon, mayroong mahabang buhay. Lahat po doon ang Subanon po naniniwala pa sa kahalagahan. Kaya nga, pag mayroong komunidad, halimbawa dito sa Pumalarang, gagawa sila ng lahat ng mga leaders throughout sa Buanga Peninsula, kasi ito ang teritoryo ng mga Subanon, bibigyan ng kaalaman, ipapaalam sa kanila. At saka yung leader doon na nakatanggap ng halimbawa liham na sinasabi na mag-Booklog dito, alam na nila ang gagawin nila, kailangan nilang tumulong kasi mahirap talaga. At saka gustong-gusto po ng mga matatanda na gagawin talaga habang buhay yung Booklog para naman po maipasa sa kabataan.
Any kind of wholeness, especially for strengthening a sense of community, is a healing ritual. And this is the main reason why the Booklog has persisted among the Subanon. It's a healing ritual. Many people who are sick participate in this ritual and they get healed. And the Bailan or the shaman among them advises the community when the Booklog should be done and how it should be done properly.
There is a deep symbolic meaning in all the stages of the ritual. joyous and reaffirming image. Members of a community jumping, reaching out for the heavens, while remaining fully grounded to the earth. What are the deeper meanings of this activity? The metaphors behind a joyful jumping. And how does this unique ritual find its place among the most valuable and tangible heritage of the whole of humankind?
Bataan inanay ko sa palan dito. Ay kulak ni ate ulong ano malana asa kita sa liwalani.
And then everybody would dance the transit dance called the ibat. It's the final activity where they will use to be, they show that there's one community. And then tricky din yung dance na yan. Kasi they'll be dancing more or less in a modern trampoline. No? Pag taas mo, minsan matutos up ka, pag baba mo, mag-down ka. Tapos meron kasing rules na i-announce ng baylan na walang magagalit dito. Maski na madapa ka, walang magagalit. Otherwise, you'll be fine. And then some of them would really, it's a test of endurance and robustness. No? Na hindi ka talaga, some of them will be pushing each other. May mga 2 circles yan, or 3 circles dancing together in one rhythm. And then they have other steps that will really be pushing each other. Pero yun, yung test of trust, no? And the sense of community.
Together, to build, to construct a platform on which a community can dance and jump, to reach out to the spirits while holding on to the hands of a fellow man. I see so many metaphors in the images of the Booklog, images of Subanon resilience, of a community's desire to reach out to the divine while reaffirming their ties to one another. More than just a ritual, what we've seen tonight is a community striving to preserve their culture. In a world where change is most constant, I hope you see how valuable their efforts are. In their hard work, in their joy, in their survival, they assert collective pride. The least we can do is to share their joy. Their Dayaw is our knowledge and our pride.